Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we are breaking down the UFC 300 card. Starting off the prelims, we have Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Definitely leaning towards Deiveson Figueiredo. He had the cardio. He looked very much improved since the move up to bantamweight. I think cutting down to flyweight was extremely taxing, especially considering he cut a ton of weight. Yeah, I think Deiveson Figueiredo will get it done by knockout in the second round. I don't think he'll get him out of there too early. I think Cody Garbrandt's going to be on the back foot for most of the fight. It's honestly a toss-up. Cody Garbrandt does have a lot of power and a lot of speed, so he definitely has some routes to victory, but I think Deiveson Figueiredo is just the overall better fighter. He's more balanced. Next up, you have Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. I'm going to pick Bobby Green in this one. I think that his boxing is way better than Jim Miller's, although Jim Miller is durable. Bobby Green has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and his jiu-jitsu is honestly a little bit underrated. This is also a toss-up fight, but I'm definitely leaning towards Bobby Green on this one, even though most people are picking Jim Miller. Next up, we have Jéssica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. I'm going to go with Jéssica Andrade on this one. She's much more experienced, plus she's younger. Marina Rodriguez is 36 years old. Andrade is 32 years old, and I think Andrade's experience will pay dividends in this fight, and I think that she will edge a decision. If not, I think that she'll get the knockout via ground and pound. Next up, we have a very exciting fight, Jalin Turner versus Renato Moicano. As much as I love Moicano, as a personality, I definitely got to lean towards Jalin Turner. He's very tall for the weight class at lightweight, and his boxing and kickboxing and just all around his striking is way better than Renato Moicano's, but Moicano could definitely get the win here, especially with Jalin Turner being as long as he is. I think that once they get on the ground, his length won't mean a ton, but the question is getting him down to the ground and breaking that distance, and I think Jalin Turner is going to catch Moicano. I think he'll probably knock him out either in the second or the third round. Not super sure on this fight either. It depends on if Moicano can get him to the ground early and grind out a decision, if not a submission. I'm definitely leaning towards Jalin here. As I said, I think he's going to get the knockout in the second or the third round. Next up, we have Sodiq Yussuf versus Diego Lopes. Sodiq Yussuf, I'm definitely going to lean towards. I think that he hits harder. He's not quite as crafty, but he's very durable. And yeah, both fighters have routes to victory on this one. Like Diego Lopes is much better on the ground. However, Sodiq Yussuf is a beast. But I think Sodiq Yussuf will get the knockout in the third round. I don't think that it'll be a quick fight, but I do think it'll be a fun fight, especially if Diego Lopes can't get him down to the ground. Next up, we have Holm versus Kayla Harrison. I'm not even sure that this fight's gonna happen just because Kayla Harrison is very questionable on if she can even make 135, considering she was fighting at 155. Plus her frame isn't a small frame, so cutting all the way down to 135 is gonna be very challenging. But if she does make it, I do think that Holm will piece her up on the feet, especially if Kayla Harrison can't get it down to the ground and wear her out early. I think that Holm has much better kickboxing, much better boxing, and I think that she'll get the knockout with a head kick. Next up, we have Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. I'm going to pick Aljamain Sterling on this one. Aljamain Sterling has very tricky footwork as well as takedowns. He's very good at mixing in his boxing with his takedowns, and Calvin Kattar, he's a very good boxer. However, he is there to be hit. I think Aljamain Sterling's going to piece him up in the first round, probably look for the takedown halfway through the first, and the longer the fight goes, the easier it will be for Aljamain Sterling to get a takedown. However, Calvin Kattar is very, very tough. Both guys are from the New England area, so can't really be biased in this one. And yeah, as I said, I think Aljamain Sterling's going to get the win. Not quite sure how. He could get it a couple different ways, either by decision or submission, but I'm going to go with submission in the second or the third round, just because, as I said, I think Calvin Kattar's there to be hit, and Aljamain Sterling is very crafty at finding the back, so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him win. Next up, we have Jiří Procházka versus Aleksandar Rakić. I'm going to go with Rakić on this one. Jiří Procházka is also there to be hit. Aleksandar Rakić has very good kicks, very good boxing as well. And Jiří Procházka likes to fight in the pocket and blitz in, and I think that Aleksandar Rakić is going to kick that leg a lot and eventually He's going to start low, go high, and I think there's a real chance that we might see Jiří get knocked out again. Plus, Aleksandar Rakić is very good at breaking the distance and picking his shots well. However, he did have that leg injury, so if that leg does start to bother him, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jiří Procházka get the win. But yeah, we're not going to do what ifs on this. I'm definitely leaning towards Rakić. I think that he'll probably get the decision, but as I said, there is a real possibility Jiří will get knocked out. Next up, we have Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage. I'm going to go with Bo Nickal on this one. Cody Brundage does have much more experience. However, Bo Nickal is pretty heavy-handed on top of having extremely high-level wrestling. And just the work ethic and the mindset that Bo Nickal has, I think that the experience won't play a big factor. I think that he's well aware of his shortcomings in MMA. And yeah, I think Bo Nickal's going to get the knockout either in the first round or the second round. I think that the Bo Nickal train is not stopping anytime soon. Next up, we have Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. This is honestly a toss-up. If you saw my short on this fight, it's kind of satirical, but I am going to go with Arman on this one. I think that he has a lot of momentum going into this fight, and I think he learned a lot from his Islam fight, although Charles Oliveira is no slouch. He has very good Muay Thai, very good grappling, obviously, very good Jiu-Jitsu. Arman Tsarukyan, if he comes in here trying to prove that he's the better grappler, I think that that'll fuck him over, honestly. But I'm going to go with Arman on this one. I think that he is a much more imposing presence. He is pretty heavy-handed. I think that he's going to push Charles up against the cage, and if he has a smart game plan and is patient, he could definitely get the decision. If not, he could knock out Charles. Charles doesn't have the best chin, but Charles Oliveira could honestly win by knockout or by submission. Finishes speak for themselves. Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Arman on this one. Next up, we have Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. I think that Max Holloway has a point to prove. Justin Gaethje said that he's close to retirement, and he's been talking about retirement quite a bit. A little too much in my opinion. I think Max Holloway is, as I said, he's trying to prove a point to the fans. He has a gigantic chip on his shoulder, and I think there's a real possibility that we will see a Calvin Kattar 2.0 and a Brian Ortega 2.0. Justin Gaethje really telegraphs his punches quite a bit. However, this is a more patient Gaethje, so yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Max on this one. I think he'll win by decision, if not a late stoppage due to a doctor stoppage, either from eyes swelling up or he could honestly get cut. Max throws a lot of elbows and knees, and I hope it doesn't get stopped by a cut or swelling, but I think Max Holloway will more than likely win by decision. Next up, we have Weili Zhang and Xiaonan. I'm going to go with Weili Zhang on this one. She is a very well-balanced fighter, especially for WMMA. Xiaonan is no slouch, though. She does have a lot of very good wins. I think that Weili Zhang is consummate professional and really puts in the work everywhere. She has good strikes, good grappling, good jiu-jitsu, and I think she'll get Xiaonan out of there in the third or the fourth round. I don't think that she'll be easy to get out of there, but I think that this will be one of the more exciting fights of the year, to be honest, as far as WMMA goes. Obviously, there's a lot of very fun matchups, so saying this fight will be better than future fights will be very up in the air, especially with Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, Pereira and Jamahal Hill, Robert Whittaker and Chimaev. There's a lot of very exciting fights in the future. I think as far as WMMA goes, this is probably going to get the fight of the year for them. Time for the main event, Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill. This is honestly a toss-up. Jamahal Hill leads with his head quite a bit. However, Alex Pereira has a good chin, but a glass temple, oddly enough. And Jamahal Hill hits very hard, very tricky striker. He throws a lot of volume. Alex Pereira is pretty patient. However, he has been known to get caught here and there. He's been flatlined, KO'd at least 3 or 4 times. Jamahal Hill is 12-1, so he has this aura of invincibility, and minus the Paul Craig fight, obviously. But Jamahal Hill is very tough, very game fighter. He has a gigantic chip on his shoulder as always, especially since people were writing him off after he won the belt, saying that he's going to lose it very quick. Then people continued to write him off after he ruptured his Achilles. And I think Jamahal Hill will come with the volume. I think he's going to throw a lot of 1s, 2s, and the head kicks as he usually does. However, Alex Pereira could honestly catch him with a left hook and eat up that lead leg and make him hesitant to throw the high kicks. So I think this is going to be a banger of a fight. I think Jamahal Hill could edge a decision. I'm going to go with the finish as I usually do. I think Jamahal will get Alex Pereira out of there with the hands, possibly a kick, but I'm going to go with the hands. I think he'll get him out of there either in the 4th round or the 5th round, where both guys are pretty tired. But Jamahal really, like I said, he throws a ton of volume. He has a pretty good gas tank, and yeah, I think that'll get him the edge in this fight. If you guys agree with my picks, comment below. If you disagree with my picks, let me know. I am extremely excited for this fight card, as I have been since the beginning of the year, honestly, as I think most people have. I don't think that it's a underwhelming card at all. I don't get why people are saying that. Is it the best card of all time? Maybe not, but it's definitely in the top 5, top 10. And as far as recently with these last 3 fight cards, it is a gigantic step up. I am very excited for it, as I said, and yeah, if you guys watched the video this far, I assume you like the content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and I hope you guys have a great week and enjoy the fights on Saturday.